Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera kepada semua peserta yang hadir secara dalam talian pada hari ini. Sebagai pembuka majlis, marilah kita mulakan sesi perkongsian kita pada pagi ini dengan bacaan Ummul Kitab Al-Fatihah. Saya Nur Atira binti Abu Hashim akan bertindak sebagai pengacara majlis untuk webinar pada pagi ini. Sebelum kita mulakan, saya ingin mengingatkan semua peserta untuk memastikan mikrofon dimatikan ketika sesi sedang berlangsung bagi mengelakkan sebarang gangguan. Menggunakan ruang sembang untuk mengajukan sebarang soalan yang ingin ditanya kepada penceramah dan kami akan mengambil beberapa soalan di akhir sesi. Hari ini kita akan bersama-sama mengikuti webinar siri Transformative Eksekutif Perdana bilangan 18-2026 bersempena National Training Week NTW 2026 yang pastinya penuh dengan ilmu yang bermanfaat. Webinar ini akan berlangsung selama 1 jam 30 minit dan kami berharap para peserta dapat memanfaatkan sesi ini dengan baik. Tanpa membuang masa, kita akan mulakan webinar yang disampaikan oleh Profesor Madya Dr. Azrina binti Aziz. Dengan segala hormatnya, saya persilakan.
Okay, first of all, a very good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to all the participants. And before we start, I would like to express my gratitude to the Center of Talent Development from UMPSA, Universiti Malaysia Pahang, Al-Sultan Abdullah, for this sharing session, which is called as a STEP or Siri Transformasi Eksekutif Perdana, so the 18 over the 2026. Okay, so for today, I would like to introduce myself. So I'm Associate Professor TS Dr. Azrina Aziz. You can just call me Azrina from Faculty of Civil Engineering Technology, UMPSA. So today the topic is about the postgraduate supervisions that related to the success of the students and also the global innovation. So for today's session, actually, I have divided into 3 parts. So after one session, we can take a break. So for the first part of today, actually, this one is a part of the assignment after I came back from the Academy Kementerian Pengajian Tinggi, or we call it as ACAP in Malaysia, by the Ministry of Higher Education. That after came back from the training, that we should give a sharing session to all the academicians in our institute or to our outsiders as well. So the first part of my topic is about the evolving role of supervisors, stated that staying relevant in a changing research landscape. Okay, so we take it as a freedomly sharing session, so everybody can give your opinion and can ask questions anytime that you want. Okay, my background is actually in environmental engineering. So I have a PhD in environmental engineering from University of Malaya. My bachelor of degree is in Bachelor of Engineering, Mineral Resources Engineering from University Science Malaysia. And after that, I got a Master of Science in Environmental Engineering, also from the same institute, University Science Malaysia. So currently, I have been located in Faculty of Civil Engineering Technology. Previously was in Faculty of Engineering Technology for 5 years and now already 6 years in FTKA UMPSA. So I was appointed as a Deputy Dean Research and Postgraduate Studies from 2019 until 2025. So I think that is how I can get involved into the ACAP. Also, my ACAP training was related to the supervision of the postgraduate. So without further ado, I would like to start on this section. This section is actually focused more on how we want to understand the evolving role of postgraduate supervisors. I mean, what does it mean by the evolving role? Is like how we want to go on with a new era or as a postgraduate supervisors. And then the second part, we could strengthen the supervision ecosystem. And then the third part, we can design a personal growth plan as a supervisor and for the institution, for our institution itself. So let's see here on how fast is changing in technology happening. As we can see now, So now the current technology is about machine learning or artificial intelligence, right? So why we want to see about this? So I would like everyone to think about this question. How fast is changing in technology happening? So as we can see from the past 5 years, during the COVID-19 happening, so that time or along these 5 years or 5 to 6 years, we can see that the technology developing quite fast. For example, the technology using a social media, especially by using Instagram and by using TikTok. And now we are more focusing or towards the machine learning part, or we can say like IoT, machine learning part, IoT, or we can say the artificial neural network. So how does the changes in technology influence our postgraduate supervision, or influence on our research, or influence on our study? So many of us used to think technological change happen every decade, but now today it change every few minutes. For example, the artificial intelligence, we can see the digital platforms and research software continue evolving rapidly, while universities often require years to update the policies. In the same time, we also make a change, or the changing in technology as well affected the policies before we updating our supervisory practice. Okay, technology is no longer changing in cycles of decades. So we can see that, let's see on the AI itself. So the statistic is remarkable. Generative AI reached 53% population adoption within 3 years. 3 years from 2026, which means from 2023, we can see the evolvement of using the artificial intelligence in our supervision system. So the generative AI itself increasing faster than early adoption of the personal computer or the internet. So how can we relate by using the artificial intelligence into our supervisory, or into the evolvement of our supervisory ecosystem? So it can say that previously no technology, so not even the internet or personal computers. So this tells us there's something important whether we personally use AI or not is no longer the issue. So the issue now is we have to evolve with the technology. We have to evolve with the situation, and we have to evolve with the environment. If let's say if we itself do not use the artificial intelligence, but our students already do, so therefore it is our responsibility. We have to think that it's our responsibility as well to learn and to guide them using the artificial intelligence ethically, critically, and transparently. Okay, the 4 reasons why supervision must evolve. The first part, we have to think that our students are more diverse. So we can see from our environment itself, we have many students comes from different country. So let's say in UMPSA, we have many students comes from, let's say, Pakistan, from Indonesia, from Bangladesh, from China. Now the students coming from China is more compared to other races. So globally, the number of students in higher education doubled over last 2 decades. And in Malaysia, higher education institutions enroll approximately about 1.35 million students, comprising both local and international students. So these are one of the major reasons why supervision today cannot remain the same. Last time we tried to use like a pedagogy style, so now it's no more like that. So let's see, we will discuss one by one on the evolvement of the supervision system. So the diversity of the student, for example, today, postgraduate students are more diverse than ever before. Some are full-time researchers, and some are part-time, and even some are the working professionals. And then we have to realize some are the local students and some international students. So we have a different background of experience. We have a different background of culture itself. So that's why we should have a more structured guidance towards the each student. This diversity actually is good and also important, which means the single supervisory style also affected throughout the supervisor. This diversity means that the single supervisory style is no longer effective. So today's focus is more on the research exposure. We want to see the comparison on the research exposure, and we want to see on the needing on the more structured guidance towards the students. So we can see here we have a full-time researchers, and also sometimes the full-time researchers also working as well, and also we have the working adults as well. We have the local students familiar with the Malaysian academic systems versus the international student adjusting to a new academic culture. Let's see here. For the full-time researchers, usually for the full-time researchers, after the student registers, the student is fully in the universities, and the meeting with the supervisor also is more often compared to the working working students. Okay, so what does this mean for the supervisors? Okay, first, the different students require different supervision approaches. And then the second, the interdisciplinary research also means supervisors should become the connectors rather than knowing everything themselves. So the connection between the students and the supervisors also should evolve and then should influence each other. So it does not mean that only the supervisors providing the information all to the students, but the students as such should be involved together and should not rely 100% fully to the supervisors. Okay, the third one, when we involve the AI, the artificial intelligence, it requires the guidance. Okay, not by but not by simply using the artificial intelligence inethically and without the guidance. As we can see now, the factor of the technology itself, especially the AI, has changed how students read and how students write and how students analyze. Okay, let's see here on the meeting generation Z and also the generation Alpha. Okay, the second part, we have the challenges through the diversity of the students. The diversity comes from the different races, comes from the different country, comes from the different culture. But now see the diversity from the different generation. Now currently as a supervisors, also as an academic staff, when we supervise the students, we have to undertake the new coming generation of students. For example, now the current intake of the students comes from the generation Z, or we call as a Gen Z. So the next, in a 10 years more future, we will gonna face the generation Alpha. So how we want to tackle them in doing the research, in focusing on the research, and as well how we want to tackle ourselves also by adapting to their generation, by adapting to their situation. For example, the usage of fully artificial intelligence, fully of the social media into their life. So let's see here the comparison. I think everyone know on the comparison of the Gen Z and also the Gen Alpha. So right now we have mostly of our students comes from Generation Z, which was born between 1997 and 2012. So this generation, we have to know as a supervisor that comes from Generation X or maybe Generation Y. For example, for myself, we comes from Generation Y. Myself is Generation Y, and I believe few of my seniors comes from Generation X. So we should know how we want to tackle this generation. In order we can adapt together, we can bring them together in doing our research and improving our research as well as our supervision method. So in Generation Z, there are usually digital native, and the first generation raised alongside smartphones and social media. Okay, we are going to face the next 10 years with the Generation Alpha, or we can say our kids right now. So they are born from 2013 onward, and they are not just digital native, but they are AI or artificial intelligence native. Okay, as I told you just now, most current postgraduate students come from Generation Z. So how we want to tackle the Generation Z? Actually, these different generation have the different learning habits and also communication preference and expectations compared to previous generations. As we can see now, it is quite hard to handle the postgraduate students, especially on the meeting frequency, especially on the assignment that we already give them. So how we want to tackle them? Okay, in the same time as well, as academic staff as well, we also have the bonding between our institution that expect more from us. So the institution also expect better completion and the quality outcomes from our postgraduate students and also from our research. So as we can see, the normal part of the institution expectation comes from the publication pressure, comes from the employability networking, comes from the research integrity itself, and comes from the concerns and also the student well-being. Okay. Okay, so what does this mean for the postgraduate supervisors? So we have seen the few challenges here that we are going to face in order for us to evolve in the postgraduate supervision. So the first one is on the diversity of the students. The second one is on the types of generation of the students, incoming students, and also the challenges also comes from the artificial intelligence. Usually, how we want to take up all this into consideration and how to become the better postgraduate supervisors in order to meet the current environment of the types of the students, and also in order to fulfill our key performance or to fulfill our KPI. So for you to think just for a while, so what does this mean for the postgraduate supervisors? So maybe I need you to reflect on how is your supervision practice. So you can ask yourself on what already that you are doing well, and where do you need to improve, and what the conversations should you be having openly with your students. Okay, but please take into the mind that there are no right or the wrong answers. This reflection also is good for you to improve in your supervision method. So, diverse students require differentiated supervision, and the supervisors cannot use one fixed style for all students. For example, I would like to give the case study for myself. I have different students coming from different country. For example, I have students from Malaysia, I have students from Bangladesh, I have students from Pakistan itself, and I have students from China as well. So how we want to start tackling them on how to involve in our research, and how to make them complete with their study, how to make them complete, not just complete, but complete with a good quality for their study. So for example, in my case, in my situation right now, okay, for now, as I do not have any problem in language. Okay, the first part that usually supervisors having a problem is actually the first part on the language barrier. So the second part may be on the different culture of the students, and the third part may be on the attitude of the student itself, and the fourth part may be the attitude of the supervisors itself. Let's go one by one. On the first part is the language barrier. As for my case, I do not have any language barrier between the Bangladesh students, Pakistan students, and also the Malaysian students. But I have a language barrier with the China students. Okay, so how I do is that the meeting should not be doing together. Sometimes certain supervisors, they like to do a group meeting. For example, the group meeting, inside the group meeting that every students would come and present what are their progress. But for my case, usually I will make a meeting once in a fortnight for every different students every different day. Because why? When we do the meeting every each students, if it every different day, so we can more focus on each student. So we can we can absorb more on the progress, and we can definitely focus on what are the students going to do on the next meeting, on the next progress, and whatever the advice that we can give personally to them. Okay, and also to avoid for the language barrier, for example, for the China students, I usually meet this student not in my office, but in somewhere that I can write, maybe in the in the lecture hall, or maybe in the lecture room, because this type of students as well, sometimes they cannot speak verbally in a good term of English, but they can easily understand by writing. Okay, so that is what the involvement I do for different students when it comes to the language barrier. When it comes to attitude of the supervisors itself, of course, the supervisors has to be more involved in the research compared to the students. But as well, the students also should have their own innovative idea to be given to the supervisors in order to share the knowledge and to share the idea on how we want to improve or enhance the research. As for the attitude of the students, sometimes different culture, different attitude of the students. So this one, it could be a challenge part for the supervisors itself. So the way that, I'm not saying what I'm saying is the correct way, but it will differ according to the different attitude. So far for the students, sometimes we cannot too much push on the progress. We have to see on the different type of the students. Different type of students, sometimes they progress slow. Different type of students also, sometimes they progress very well and very quick. So we have to tackle on the attitude of the students, on the behavior of the students itself. Okay. That's why in the last part of the sentence, it says that supervisors cannot use one fixed style for all the students. So we have to evolve in every different type of students. So we have to see, we have to tackle, and we have to embrace their attitude. We have to embrace their culture. We have to embrace even their language as well. Okay, the more you embrace with the students, the more you feel connected to them, and the more they feel connected to you. So that is how the healthy supervision goes. Okay, next we move on to this slide. So this slide mentioned that interdisciplinary research requires supervisors to become connectors. And the supervisors do not need to know everything, but they must know how to connect students to the right expertise. So this means that, of course, the supervisors also not to be 100% perfect, and we also are doing a research as well together with the students. Sometimes there are some informations also we are lacking, referring to our research. So the hope here is that the students as well should do their homework regarding their research, and the supervisors itself should become connected to more collaborators that related to their research. Okay, so when you have more connection and we have more connectors to this to the field of our research, so that is how we get the idea. So that is how we change the idea, and that is how we increase the knowledge, and by increasing the knowledge, that's how we pass to the students. Okay. What does it mean by the connectors? Is more on the collaborative or collaboration parts, and more on the networking, and not to be in a silo type of research. Okay, in our current supervision, as I mentioned many times and previously, right now we are moving to the artificial intelligence. Not moving, we are into the artificial intelligence. Not to say that we cannot definitely use the artificial intelligence. Yes, we can use like the chat GPT, we can use the Gemini, we can use any platform of artificial intelligence. But by using this artificial intelligence or AI, we should not 100% rely to them. Okay, this AI actually requires guidance. Okay, this issue actually is no longer whether students use AI, but whether they use it ethically, transparently, and critically. So as a supervisors itself and the student itself also, they should know what are the limitations of the usage using the AI. So this AI part is actually you can use the generative AI. Definitely you can use, but you have to use it ethically, transparently, and critically. Okay, what I mean by ethically, transparently, and critically, wherever that the citations that you do inside the AI, you should quote it as your citations as well. You cannot simply copy and simply definitely use 100% of the words. We just want to get the idea from the artificial intelligence, not that we not think. Okay, we must practice ourselves, especially for the supervisors and also to the students. Between them also, they should practice on the first how we want to solve the problem, on how we want to get the idea of your research, or how we want to uh to to get the idea of the research. But this AI is actually giving you more guidance on it, more widen on the knowledge and also on the theory. Okay, not to say that we do not think on how to use ethically. Yeah, like I said, that we must have the citations inside our statements by using the generative AI. Okay, so we have seen how we want to supervise on the different culture of the students, different attitude, and also the different language barrier. And also we have seen on the connection and also the collaborations. Okay, and we have seen on the AI challenges in the current supervision. So now we have to see as well when we supervise the students, the main part of the challenges, and also furthermore, not just type of challenges, this is the part of the academician or academic staff's KPI. We want to fulfill the institutional expectations as well, especially on their ranking. So the institutional expectations require more structured supervision. Okay, what does it mean by the structured supervision here is we're gonna see that later on the structure supervision. Okay, when it comes to the institutional expectations, of course, this will definitely goes to the usual one is the publication on the graduate on time students, and also the quality, not just the publication, but on the quality of the publication, on the quality of the research itself. And not until that, we must focus also on the employability of the students after they graduated, and their well-being and the facilities that they have during the research as well. So this should be catered by the supervisors as well as the students. So for the supervisors, we are not just supervising for our KPI. We are not just supervising to fulfill, for this year, we should have 2 master students or we should have 3 PhD students. Not just that. We must think beyond that whatever that students we are supervising right now, we are focusing them to the completion with the high quality research, with a good publication, with the good employability in the future. So that is the main part of the responsibility of the supervisors, that every academic staff should take note on that. Okay. So the question is no longer whether the supervisors should change. So the real question is, how do we remain relevant as supervisors? So right now, how we want to remain relevant as the supervisors? So maybe any idea from the floor? How do we remain relevant as supervisors? Any idea? I'm not sure. Can I call anybody in the in the? Okay, maybe I would like to call maybe Dr. Chin. Do you have any idea or not on how we want to uh how we want to maintain the relevancy of supervision, in your opinion? Is Dr. Chin online? I would like to call I would like to call any in the floors just to share some ideas. Okay.
Maybe we have to update on the new publication on the related field so that we can up to date with the new advancement and innovation in our field. Yeah, maybe one of the key to make relevant. Yeah, as the supervisor, in my
Pardon?
opinion. Yeah.
So, okay, good. So we have Dr. Sharifuddin. Maybe Dr. Sharifuddin can introduce yourself first to the floors. Uh, which faculty are you from and what field that you are? And so you can share on your supervision, current supervision method. What are you doing? Okay, please, Dr. Sharifuddin.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and good morning to all of you. So I'm Sharifuddin Misbari from FTKA Civil Engineering, similar with the Prof. Madya Dr. Azrina. So currently I'm supervising master and PhD students. Some of my student is in the international student foreigners, and my field is on in a GIS and remote sensing technology related to the civil engineering applications. So what is based on my experience, some of my student is very updated on the latest advancement in the field. So as the supervisor, one of the key to always relevant to as the supervisor to guide our student is we also have to know what happening around us in the related with our field. And maybe sometimes what I do is always communicate with the student on how we find the research gap, that also towards that the latest development of the topic that in the field. So what we have is what we do is always communicate and discuss with the student. Sometimes that's that
Okay.
I have done. Yeah.
Okay, I think that is a good approach with from Dr. Sharifuddin. Okay, Dr. Sharifuddin is a GIS expert. Okay, so his approach is more on the discussion with the students, right? So, okay, what happen if we want to discuss with the students, but the students not interested to discuss with us? So, do you have any idea on how to tackle this situation? Maybe we can hear from um, we have Dr. Jamal here, maybe? Dr. Jamal? How do you face this situation if it happens to you? Or anybody would like to answer? Dr. Chin, are you online?
Hi, Dr. Azrina. I'm
Hi.
not sure what is the correct way actually, but I think most of the supervisors also do the same thing. We try to engage with the students, meet frequently, engage, having a good relationship, and try to guide the students. That is my opinion.
So do you have any problem or not facing with your students previously? Any kind of challenges that you faced before?
Challenges, I'm not so sure. Maybe I didn't face one. I didn't have problem much with the student. Yeah.
All right, okay. Let's see here. Maybe we have participants from outside. Dr. Nick Azimatul from USM. Okay, Dr. Nick. So, do you have any challenges, or are you facing any challenges or not with your supervisors, with your students?
Hello.
Hello, yes. Can you
Okay.
introduce yourself?
Okay. Good morning, everyone. So I'm Dr. Nia Azimatul from Universiti Science Malaysia. Thank you, Dr. Azrina, for inviting me to join this webinar. Okay, for most of all, I only have one local student, but already graduated. So currently my student all foreigner lah. The challenge is I think I can define that the challenge is based on the region, the regionals where the students come from. From the southeast, it's different. From the China, it's different. So knowing how the patterns or the behavior of the student is set, so I can set the boundary. And I can say that usually from the South Africa, they are very hardworking because sometimes the economicals restraint on them make them working very hard actually. But if the student have the wealthy backgrounds, it's not my prejudice, but this is just based on observation of my students. Maybe others have different perspective. I just talking about in the perspective of my students. So those who have the wealthy background, sometimes they just want to make it easier, just want to have the shortcut. So I have to be very tough lah with them. And what we can say, main tarik tali lah.
Alright,
I do something like that. Okay, and so usually I try my best, although with my busy schedules, at least 2 weeks, I will contact or they have to contact me for the progress.
Okay, so from Dr. Azimato, so what you are facing is more on the different culture from the different region of the country, origin of the students. Okay, and for Dr. Chin and Dr. Sharifuddin, so far they do not have any problem. Okay, does anybody in the floor has a problem related to the usage of our new technology related to the AI? Have you found out that your students definitely 100% copy from the AI without referring to the article, without referring to the journals, or without referring to any types of books? So anybody in the floor facing that, and how you overcome the challenges of these students actually? We would like to hear from the floor. Maybe Prof. Muzamil. So do you have any problem or not related on the using of the generative AI during your supervision? Prof. Muzamil, are you there? No. Okay, is there anyone who would like to comment on the usage of the AI? Maybe Dr. Sim from Utah. How do you overcome this situation if it happens to you? Dr. Sim, are you there? Sorry, I would like to ask a question because this is how to avoid the 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 feel of boring. Actually, for this session, we should do it by face to face, but because due to the limited time and also the already full for 2026 and to fulfill the ACAP assignment from me, so I still have to make a sharing. So anybody else would like to share on how you overcome the challenges by using the artificial intelligence in your students' thesis? Maybe we like to call upon again Sharifuddin. Do you have any problem or not? What, or if you are facing that problem, how you want to tackle it?
For a master and PhD student, I have no issue on the AI usage in terms of their thesis writing and all that. I have problem for undergraduate students for using AI.
Okay, so
for
how you tackle the
degree and
situation?
also the thesis for diploma student. Degree student is okay. A little bit can be lenient on that, so they can follow my instructions. But for diploma, I have no solution on that. So because diploma for this faculty only one semester. So I just give the instruction at the early of the semester that I said to them, kalau you nak guna AI, hanya yang sangat-sangat perlu sahaja, tapi you tak boleh copy paste bulat-bulat. So you kena adjust guna you punya ayat. Saya cakap macam tu lah. So what they do is, yeah, of course we can see they copy paste, but most of the thesis I check and recheck again. So they change the sentence. So minimum usage of the AI. But for some student still banyak sangat guna AI. So saya bagi markah rendah lah on that. So that's my problem lah for the undergraduate student. For postgraduate student, I have no issue on the AI. So they matured and alhamdulillah still okay on the AI percentage and similarity.
Alright. Okay, thank you, Dr. Sharifuddin. I think Dr. Nur Ashikin would like to say something, maybe related to the AI.
Yes, Dr. Azrina. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Shikin from FTKA, UMPSA. Okay, actually, I'm still consider myself new in this organization, UMPSA, since I'm just 5 years, and I did supervise 2 students, postgrad, PhD, and also master students. Of course, my student, both of them, of course, they use AI to write on their thesis, journal, and so on. And we, as a supervisor, we cannot oppose a student using AI, because for me, AI has become an important tool lah in our modern education, especially in our research lah. Okay, but to orang kata apa, meraihkan that AI thing. So we as a supervisor, I think we need to guide our student on how to use the AI responsibly lah, and also of course ethically. So what I'm doing is I want they to understand what they write. So during the meeting, I will ask them to explain again their work, so that I'm sure that they fully understand what they do and not just copy paste from AI. So that's my opinion lah. Actually, same goes with opinion from Dr. Sharifuddin just now. Thank you.
Alright. Okay, so we have seen the situation of the involvement of our supervision method. Okay, that we have to involve in especially the diversity of the students. The first part means the different culture, the different background of the students. And then the second part, the most part of the most challenging part is on the usage of the AI, especially in now is a very trending one. We should not definitely not avoiding it, but actually we have to adapt with the usage of it. And then I would like to hear if there is any problem comes from the students' well-being. For example, like we can see that the students' well-being definitely from the family matters, family problem. For example, like the financial pressure. So right now we have a quite tight of the financial assistance. So that is part of the well-being of the students itself. So the well-being here comes from the financial pressure, from the family responsibilities, from the isolation, from the imposter syndrome and anxiety. So maybe I would like to hear from the perspective of the students. I think I have one of my students here. So maybe Mr. Mohsin, can you tell us on how you overcome on the student well-being part as being the students, postgraduate students here? When it comes to the students' well-being, I think we should have the perspective comes from the students. Or maybe we have Sulaiman here. Dr. Sulaiman. Dr. Sulaiman was my PhD students. Maybe you can comment on the students' well-being during your time as the PhD student.
Assalamualaikum, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yeah, audible, but a little bit higher the voice.
Yes. Okay, ma'am. Can you repeat again? please.
What is the challenging part being the students, especially on the family's responsibilities, on the student well-being that related to the financial assistance, or maybe the 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 emotional part that you face during the tenure as a PhD student?
Yes, thank you, ma'am. I'd like to say that this is very important for all of us, especially for international students, to get the sufficient financial assistance or financial support from our supervisor as well as the university, so that we can keep cool in our mind and we can focus into our research and maybe not only research but all the other activities within the university and the community here. Uh, I'm not sure that the most of us we have family here. Maybe we have kids, we have wife, we have parents, so we have to support them as well as we are now around 30 plus. So we have to support our family. So yes, I think it's most important for us. And for family support, I would say that for me, it was very my family was full supported for me. Actually, I study in abroad, and of course, I face some issues. And last time I actually was engaged for a full-time job in my country, Bangladesh. So later on, once I came here, then it is actually difficult to survive here in Malaysia and to take care of my parents and my family also. So yes, that is the fact.
Okay, so as a student and as the supervisor, sir, we should take into account, okay, on the
Yes,
emotional
ma'am.
part of the students as well, because every student sometimes they face their own emotional problem. For example, the anxiety problem, depression, or maybe some of the students also has the what we call like the problem, for example, family matters problem, financial especially, that due to the problems they become stressed, become depressed. Okay, so actually we have um, okay, we have answered all the questions from different supervisors, different universities, and also from the perspective of the students. So now, just to take a minute or after of the session that you try to reflect on your own supervisory practice. So please reflect on how your supervisory practice, is it beneficial to your students? Is it beneficial to yourself as being an academic staff? Is it beneficial to the institute as well? So we have to think in the three parts: yourself, the students, and also to the university and also to your institutes. And you have to think about on which areas that you already doing well and which areas that you need to be updated and you need to overcome or you need to improve. Okay. Say, let's say on the supervisor relevant self-audit. So from the surveys, you can ask yourself, what is your strongest area as a supervisor is? As for my case, my strongest area is I keep the meeting, my meeting time always maintain. Okay. For example, like my meeting is always once a fortnight, every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks I will meet my students, whether I am lazy or not, I will meet my students. Okay. If I'm lazy, I will ask them to come and meet me just to update on the progress, because sometimes also we as academic staff also we have many things in our mind, but try not to uh try to follow the schedule, okay, of the student meeting. Okay, number two, one area, try to think on one area that you need to improve, what area that you can improve as being a supervisors. Okay, and then number three, one issue that you should discuss more openly with your students, what issue that you should discuss. As for myself, I would like to say, of from all the questions that I asked you, Alhamdulillah, I do not have much problem with my students. My students are very committed to their research. My students are very committed to their studies. My students help to publish in a good quality journal. But I believe that you all outside also have not have the chance to get all the privilege that I got. But that is where you have to try to improve. Okay, try to tackle that. For example, like Dr. Azima told just now, she is having a problem with a different culture of the students. Okay, not to say that I'm not having a problem. I have a problem, but the problem comes from the Malaysian students itself. Okay, I have a problem that my students will take their own sweet time to finish their research. Okay, one of my students will like sometimes skip the meeting. I have faced them, or I face him a lot. Okay, but the way I tackle the students is I do not push the students to finish fast. I do not push him or her to exactly fulfill my time of meeting or to fulfill my progress. So we just try to embrace between each other on the attitude, on the language, on the emotional part as well. Okay. Okay. This is some sort of the assignment that you can do at home or later on. Okay. Okay, so maybe from the self-audit that you can see how staying relevant as the supervisor is not an abstract idea. So from the self-audit also, it appears that our daily supervision habits, such as how clearly you set the expectations, how regularly you monitor the students' progress, how you guide the students on research integrity and artificial intelligence use. Okay, so by this self-audit, both the students and the supervisors can increase their strengths and the areas in which are less confident. So from this part of the slide, or from this part of the sharing, okay, so the conclusion is a relevant supervisor is not someone who already knows everything. We as a supervisors, we should not feel ego, or we should not feel that we know everything. Sometimes the students knows better. So both students and supervisors should help each other in order to produce a good quality research, in order to produce a good quality publication, in order to produce the quality students, and good for the employability and good for the institution. So the relevant supervisors is someone who is willing to reflect. You as yourself as supervisors, like myself also, I have to reflect. You as yourself also, you should reflect what is your lack and what you should improve. Update and improve your supervision practice. Okay, so we have finished on the part of the involvement of the students. So what I can conclude here, in involving your role as supervisors, you should not think about yourself. You should think about the students as well, and you should think about the institution as well. In order for you to think about yourself, yes, you should think about your role as supervisors, the main role as the supervisors and also as the academic advisors to the students. You should guide them in the same time not to feel ego with yourself. And for the students as well, okay, when guiding the students also, we should embrace with their language, with their culture, with their attitude, and with their emotional part. So from embracing all the four parts of the main parts of evolving in the role of supervisors, that is how we can improve the quality of the research, we can improve the quality of the students, we can improve the quality of your supervision method, and as well we can improve the institutional expectation. So that is the main conclusion of this topic. So let's move on to the next topic. I have another topic that is one related to the collaboration, to the networking in order to produce the good quality research. Okay, but of course, before I start with this session, maybe I would like to ask, or I would like to call upon the participants in the floor to share their experience in collaboration, in the networking, okay, in the scholarly identity. Okay. So for this topic, this is about the building your supervision ecosystem. Remember, when you supervise the student, it's not only you and the students. You are being in the ecosystems of academic, in ecosystem of research. So inside the ecosystem of research, of course, you have your students, and you should have the collaboration, and you should have your networking, and you should have many partners from a different parts or different field of your study. Okay? So in this topic, we are focusing on the collaboration, networking, and scholarly identity. Okay, so the effective postgraduate supervision is no longer an individual effort between one supervisor and one student. So the good supervision depends on a wider ecosystem of collaboration, academic networks, institutional support, industry, community links, and the supervisor's own scholarly identity. Right now, the focus more right now towards the Ministry of Higher Education need. So we should more focus on the industry and community. Am I right? Of course, we as the lecturer, should involve more in the industry. We should involve more in the community. Okay, so a strong supervisor here is not someone who handles everything alone, but someone who knows how to connect the student to the right people, resources, and opportunities. Okay, what is the supervision ecosystem? Let's see here. Okay, the key actors in the ecosystem. Okay, what are the key actors in the ecosystem? Maybe I would like to call to get some idea with the from the floors on what is the ecosystem of supervision or ecosystem of networking. Can I have Prof. Karunisa here online on sharing on how you in sharing on what is your ecosystem of supervision. Can I have Prof. Karunisa?
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Azrina. Okay, yeah, actually, I'm trying to understand the question. Okay, what are you trying? Actually, the question is related to, is it how do I supervise the student?
No, is it on how you involve your students in the collaboration? Okay, the first part is how you started your collaboration, how you make your networking, and how you involve your students as well in your networking.
Okay, actually, one of the thing that we start, of course, we start small. That means I allow my students to meet the lecturers other than the supervisor in order to obtain knowledge. Let's say they know certain lecturers are good in modeling. So they are free to meet the lecturer and get more information. Okay, that's one, because lecturers are also our friends. So it's not necessary to be the only one supervisor and also the co-supervisor. Secondly, I involve the students because students write. Okay, when they write, of course, we have collaborators from outside the country. So they will be joining to be the co-authors in the paper. So the students will get connected. Okay, these are the two early stage. They first among the internal inside the university. Second, for the external collaboration, that means international, so that when they get to know the one international collaborator, then they will get excited to expand, to write more, and to get more knowledge and of course more experience, along with expanding their networking for their future research and also career. That's my approach. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Karunisa. That is a very good approach actually. So we started small, like myself in my experience, started small, especially in the national part, in the internal part itself. First inside the university, first inside the faculty. Then after that, I move outside faculty, which we try to collaborate beyond FTKA. So we go to another faculty, like myself, I collaborated with the Faculty of Computing, I collaborated with the Faculty of Chemical. Okay, and then after that, we try to, what I did was I tried to gain the collaborators from my PhD friends. So we still contact each other now and we still collaborating. Okay, so from that also, I will introduce them to my students as well. You should contact with this professor. We should contact with this doctor. Okay, I give them freedom to contact personally with the lecturer. And then after that, we move out to the international part as well, which I introduce all my collaborators to the students, not only for their PhD or master studies, but as well to go for the postdoctoral or furthermore to be the academic staff. Okay, that is the part, the collaboration between the universities or the collaboration between the academic staff. What about the collaboration between the industry and community? Maybe I would like to hear an idea from Dr. Rahima. So how do you connect the collaborators in industry with the students? So any word from Dr. Rahima? Okay, maybe Dr. Rahima is not online. So I would like to hear on the collaboration part from our international guest here. So we have a Dr. Mirza here from Universitas Erlangga. What do you think of what is your approach related to the collaboration and your connection to the students?
Hello, Dr. Azrina. Thank you for inviting me to this session.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello. So actually,
Hello.
because most of my students are undergraduate students, we don't have the postgraduate students yet. But I think for now, we just try to involve them whenever we have guests. Like when you came to our campus, we often get visitors from our colleagues abroad to give lectures or stuff like that. So to interact with them, to know how study abroad or how study in the postgraduate level, some stuff like that, I think.
So does the undergraduate students involve as well with the industry or the community in your institute?
Yes, with the industry and community as well. For the industry, because we have a mandatory like an internship, like short period of time of internship. So they have to be involved in the industry. For the community as well, because we have community development that we often also involve the students.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Mirza. Dr. Mirza is from Universitas Erlangga, Indonesia. Okay. Moving on to the slides. Okay, so the key actors in the ecosystem. So the actors is ourselves, the supervisors. So the actors is the student, the actors is the collaborators, and the actors is the institution. So the supervisors, the students, the collaborators, and the institution should connected to each other. So what are the types of collaborations? So the types of collaboration comes from every part. The first part that I mentioned just now, first from the academician part. So we can have the internal collaborations, for example, like within the universities, within the faculty. Okay, and then we have the national collaborations. The strategies is you can go out to national collaborations. So where the collaborations goes to the different type of Malaysian universities, and then after that we can go international. So the international you can focus like maybe first part, the nearest part of Malaysia is Asia. Okay, and then after that we can go further. Okay, I would like to share on how I do the collaborations. Okay, so when I first finished my PhD about 12 years ago. Yes, 12 years ago when I finished my PhD study, and when I first started in UMPSA as the senior lecturer. Last time that was in 2014. Actually, we started with a zero. I started with a zero. So I only have a collaborators. My collaborators comes from my PhD supervisors and comes from my master supervisors. Okay, and also the collaborators comes from among my friends, among my PhD friends. So that is where we started the collaborations. So we started the collaborations actually in the grant. The first one by using my internal grant and also by external grant. Now, how we do the collaborations? The first one is like every type of the grant that I apply, I will invite my friends and I will invite my supervisors to be part of the grant. Okay, the way that we do the collaborations is that sometimes the idea comes inside the proposals, and sometimes the idea comes inside the analysis, and sometimes the idea comes inside the publication. Okay, so that is the first part of my collaborations. And then the second part of my collaborations that it comes from my students. That is the most important part of my students. I have previously I have graduated one PhD students and now already professors from Bangladesh. So from there also I build up my networking and collaborations. So actually it comes from him as well. Okay, not come from me. Okay, so when I supervise him, I got many collaborations. Okay, how do I get the collaborations? It's actually from the article publication. When he published the first his first articles, so someone already read the articles and interested, and that is where I get the connection and I get the context of collaborations. Okay, and then when it comes to the collaborations inside the faculty, of course, I have my own focus group that we collaborated not only inside the grant, but sometimes we collaborated in the community project, and sometimes we collaborated as well in the what we call in the grant and also in the publication. Not to say that every collaborations must have the involvement from them, but we should keep the circle small, but we maintain the circle. Okay, so for the outside my faculty also, I make a collaborations with 2 faculties related to what the research I am doing. Okay. And then after that, I move throughout to the international. How I move to the international is actually by international grant, and also from my PhD study also, because I have my supervisor is a foreigner. Okay, and then during my PhD study also, I make a connections to many collaborators to get the idea and so to get the knowledge and the theory of my research. And also I made a visit during the conference to meet with all my collaborators. I try to make the meeting with all the collaborators, especially the international. Okay, and then that is how me and my group maintain on the collaborations and on the partner. Usually, we do not find any new collaborators. We maintain the collaborators only. Okay. Recently, also, I collaborated with Dr. Mirza related to the international grant. Okay. And then I have another collaborations come from the South Korea related to grant also. So, the type of collaborations here can comes from the academic, can comes from the industry, can comes from the community. Okay, in the part of the industry, we have a industrial grant. So from the industrial grant, that is how we can we can make connections on the, for example, on the matching grant, or on the or what you can say on the consultation parts related to the industry. Okay, and then for the community, right now we are moving towards the industrial and also the community. And then for community also, we should have a networking that related to our expertise. For example, like my expertise is more on the solid waste management. Okay, so that is how I want to use my expertise in solid waste management towards the community. So towards the community, we have also the community grant, and then we have also the the chance to do the community project, okay, related to the related to my expertise. Okay. So, the collaboration in supervision. Collaboration should not be symbolic. It must add intellectual, methodological, or professional value to the student's research journey. Okay, how does the collaboration give effect to the students? Okay, the first one is like what Prof. Karunisa said just now, and what I'm doing as well, and I believe every of the academic staff is doing right now. So actually, we share an idea. Okay, when it comes to the intellectual, we share the theory, we share the fundamental part of the research, and then of course we share the methodological part, especially on the analysis, on the discussion of analysis of their thesis and also of the publication. And of course we share the professional value, because sometimes different collaborators, different supervisors, or different academic staff has a different professional value that can give to the students. So sometimes students not just learn from their supervisors, but students also can learn from their collaborators. Okay. Okay, the tips for successful collaborations. The first one is we have to define the clear roles. Why we want to collaborate with them, why we want to do the collaboration. Okay, and then we must have a clear expectation. The clear expectation is actually related on what we want from the collaborators and what the collaborators expected from us as well. And then, of course, we should have a regular communication. Regular communication here means that regularly email or regularly meet up, okay, or regularly meeting. Like my case, I usually made a regular email to my collaborators, especially from the international, and every time we try to come up with a academic program or maybe a research program or visiting program that we can enhance our connection more. Okay, and then of course the tips for the successful collaboration is more on the respect for different expertise. Okay, I would like to highlight on the main part of the collaboration. As for my experience, collaborated with the overseas partner, especially comes from the Europe, especially comes from the country like Japan and also the South Korea. The collaborations means involvement which they wants to involve in our research, they wants to involve in our publication, they wants to involve together, not just by putting name or not just by emailing or not just by the basic collaboration. When they say they want to involve, they involve in writing the article, they involve in reading the article as well. So that is the healthy collaborations that we should do among of the academic staff in order to increase our supervision. Okay, so the problems often happen when the co-supervisors are appointed formally but not meaningfully involved. Okay, I think this one is basically the major part. The major problem actually in the supervision. Okay, sometimes the main role comes only from the main supervisors. Okay, but not comes from the collaborators. Okay, this is why this is the main challenge that we should face and we should tackle and we should overcome this situation. When it says the collaboration means involvement together. Okay, first we can involve in the ice breaking part, and the second part we can involve in the meeting, giving an idea, sharing an idea, okay, and exchange an idea. And then after that, we can start collaborating by being together in the research or being together in the project. Being together, we can divide tasks, we can divide responsibility on which collaborators should take this part and which of you should take this part. So that is a healthy collaborations that we should do. Okay. Okay. So, this is a statement regarding the supervisory relationships with co-supervisors. Okay, co-supervisors is not mandatory or it's not a necessary, but we can appoint the co-supervisors in order to help in terms of the different knowledge that we do not have. Okay, sometimes the relationship between the students and the supervisors is not so good. So we need the co-supervisors to overcome this situation in order to have a good connection between the three of the persons. Okay, so the next part, the co-supervisors is not mandatory at university. Nonetheless, I have adopted co-supervision strategically as a means of capacity building and mentoring. Of course, the co-supervision also not just for the students. The co-supervisors also is between the relationship between the academic staffs and between the supervisors. Usually, the co-supervisors goes to the junior staff. So this junior staff will learn from the senior staff on how to do the good supervision and how to do the publication and how to handle the students. That is a part of the mentoring. Okay. All right. Okay, let's see the statement comes from Sunderland. I have discovered that I'm inherently more at ease functioning as the sole supervisor, largely because I completed my own PhD without co-supervisor. However, I also recognize the value of collaborative supervision, particularly when mentoring junior colleagues or supervising in new research areas. Studies suggest that co-supervision can benefit everyone involved, the student, the main supervisor and the co-supervisor, by encouraging richer discussion and shared perspective. Of course, the main part that we can get is more on the sharing perspective and sharing idea, because sometimes when we are alone or we are doing in a sole supervision, we cannot get very much idea. Okay, we cannot enhance our idea and we cannot enhance our publication as well. So we need the collaborators. So the networking, the first part is the collaboration. The second part is the networking. Collaboration and also networking is almost similar. Okay, so networking as the supervision competency. This is how you make your supervision more efficient. So the networking helps supervisors give students access to examiners, collaborators, to the data sets, especially to the industries, and to for the research tools, publication opportunities, internships, field sites, grants, and future employment pathways. So by having a networking, we can get examiners, of course, for our students. Okay, and we can get the usage of the research tools in different universities. And then, of course, we can have a publication opportunities. Okay, when we have a more networking, so we can use the network and also we can use the collaborators to help in our publication. And soon they will get our help as well in our publication. So that is how we strengthen our supervision technique. Okay. And of course, the networking also goes to the grants and also the future employment pathways. The future employment pathways here goes to the students, where the students can go for the postdoc and the students can go for the academic for employment. Okay. Okay. So, in your opinion, let us do some activity within yourself for your self-reflections. What are the type of networks that you have, and which one is the weak one, which one is the missing one, and which one is the strongest one? So you can see here from what I already jot down here. So the green and the pink color. So the pink color is actually replacing the red color or the orange color. Then this is part of my self-reflection. So the current co-supervisors, yes, I have the strong link within my focus group as the co-supervisors. Okay, and then the research group members, of course, I'm leading the focus group. What about the faculty and what about the faculty or school support? So the school support and the faculty support here comes to the what I reflect myself, it comes to the facilities. Sometimes facilities we do not have in our faculty. That is where we should get the support from outside as well. Okay. And then the methodology and statistic experts. Okay, it's part of the strong link. Industrial and community context, I admit that I still have a lack in terms of industry and community. International collaborators, yes, alhamdulillah, I'm good at it. Alumni or former students, yes, of course, still I have the alumni here and my former students even inside this sharing session. Okay, and then administrative support units, okay, potential examiners and reviewers. Maybe we can take a 3 minutes self-reflection on which type of networks that you are strong, which type that you are missing, and which type that you are weak. So maybe I will call upon somebody after this just to give your reflection. Okay, let's call in line. Okay, I have my collaborators here or my friend here, Dr. Kaviraja. Dr. Kaviraja, are you there?
Hi, yes, doctor. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can. Okay, Dr. Kaviraja, can you introduce yourself to the floors and maybe give some of your reflections toward this slide?
Oh, yeah, sure. So good morning to everyone. I'm actually Kaviraja from UITM campus Kuala Pilah. So thank you, Dr. Azrina, for the invitation to join your talk. I find it very useful and it's timely as well when it comes to supervision and etc. So now to reflect on this part here, probably I'm not going to take a lot of time to comment on everything. I just share my stuff here. So network is always important. Sometimes, when it comes to like a co-supervisors, we tend to lose connection because the issue is all of us are busy. So how do we engage everyone in together is like what I used to do. It's like I try to conduct a meeting with my student and also the co-supervisors at least 6 months once or at least annually, so that we can keep in progress, because most of the time what will happen is the main supervisor will discuss everything with the student. So it is like only two-person communication. But when we have co-supervisor, of course, they have their own role and they also assist in the certain objective of the whole research project. But it is also important, I think, to have engagement meetings so that we can actually share more opinion, and that's how it's going to make the whole team more stronger. So that is my opinion about on the co-supervisors.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Kaviraja. Okay, I would like to hear from my nearby colleague. So can I call upon Dr. Haliza here? Dr. Haliza is from FTKA. So Dr. Haliza, can you say something about the collaboration parts? Or do you have any collaborators? Dr. Haliza, can I hear your
Okay.
opinion?
Yeah, Assalamualaikum and very good morning, everyone. Thank you, PM Dr. Azrina. Okay, according to the question, actually I'm still near B, but for current, I'm working, I have a collaboration with the Chongqing University and also with the UNRI, Universitas Riau. So for the approach that I'm using right now, we do have a collab on the paper.
Good.
And also currently I'm also working on the still in the early stage, working with the industry and like I did mention, I'm still a newbie, and I hope that through this session I had lots of the information. Thank you to PM for giving the overview to me on
All right.
that.
Okay, good one from Dr. Haliza. Yes, Dr. Haliza is a newbie, but she already has a good collaboration international, okay, from China and also from Indonesia. That is a good part and good job, Dr. Haliza. Okay, let's see here. I want to call regarding the industrial collaboration. I would like to hear your opinion from Dr. Adam. I believe Dr. Adam has a few consultation projects that related to the industry or agency. So can you give your comment on your collaborating activities that can help in your academic career?
Yes. Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Azrina, for inviting me to give some comments on this. Well, honestly, when we're talking about networking, especially with the industry, they are a very busy group. Most of the time, when talking about industry, in their thinking, they are more focusing to dollar and cents, mostly. However, in my context of collaborations, I do not have any direct engage with private sector, but I have engagement with governments through university holdings from another university. So this all happens when we have a good reputation and relationship with the members of the consultants. It started way back for many years. It just not happened just 1 or 2 years. So this is something that we need to take note, that sometimes when we see someone new for the first time, we do not expect that something is going to happen for the next day, but we must have a good connection. I mean, good to each other, and when the times come for the next 10 years, 20 years, when the meeting point appear, then we can collaborate on something. So sometimes this depending on, opportunity, luck in a way. And my point of view in this context is what I'm trying to address is just make friends. And yeah, who knows? We can do collaboration in the future for the next 10 years. Itu je. Thanks.
Okay. Okay, it's a good one, Dr. Adam. So we have seen the perspective from Dr. Kaviraja, from Dr. Haliza. So from Dr. Kaviraja is from more on the internal co-supervisors collaboration. So from Dr. Haliza is more on the international collaborations, and Dr. Adam is more on the community, or we can say industrial or agency collaborators. Okay. So from there, do you think that we can enhance our scholarly or our reputation based on these collaborations? Yes, I believe that we can. Okay, so what does it mean by the scholarly identity? So move the last part, okay? So we may extend a little bit about 10 minutes, okay? So the scholarly identity. So as being an academic staff, we usually focusing, I think you are very well about the H index, and also very well about the Google Scholar, very well known about the org ID, something like that, okay? So that is how you identify yourself, scholarly identity. Okay, so how others recognize your academic contribution? Okay, research, your supervision values, and the intellectual community you belong to. Okay, so I'm sorry for the technical part of the slide. So I would like to emphasize that scholarly identity is not only on the publication. Okay, sometimes you only focus, or we have many publications, or that person have many publications, that person has a high H index. Okay, that's not only on that. Okay, it is also about intellectual leadership, on how you lead the people, on how you lead in your area of expertise, and how you mentoring. What is your mentoring style? The mentoring styles can goes to the students. The mentoring styles can goes beyond the management itself, and the mentoring style can goes towards the community also. Okay, and then we would like to see on the scholarly identity that related to your research integrity as well. Okay, the research integrity is the most important part in to identify you as the scholarly person. Okay, and then your contribution to the field and your ability to nurture the future scholars. So the ability to nurture the future scholars related to your current supervision right now, your students, your junior. Okay. So why scholarly identity matters more? Okay, because academic is no longer an individual researcher, but someone who contributes to a wider institutional and societal mission. Okay, so like I have mentioned before, doing research or supervision is not the sole responsibility of you. We should collaborate, we should involve, we should do networking, and of course, like what just now Dr. Adam says, that who knows, we might go furthermore. Okay, so from individual expert to ecosystem builder. Okay, during last time we take a note, like our legend scientists, for example, Albert Einstein, or my favorite scientist was Niels Bohr. Okay, related to the physics. Okay, he was my favorite scientist. Last time they are very nerd. Doing their work himself as a chemist, as a physicist, individually. But right now we cannot go towards the individual or individualisms. We must have our big ecosystem builder. So in order to have the big ecosystem builder, of course, it is through the collaboration, it is through the networking, okay, and it's through the from there we can build up our scholarly identification. Okay, so maybe in your self-reflection, your own self, how does your research benefit students? You can ask yourself, and how does your research benefit to the institution, to the industry, or to the society? You can have your self-reflection after the sharing session. So, I want to give the last part, almost, okay, the 10 common types of PhD supervisors. So also, the perspective from the students, we have many types of the supervisors. Right now, in the floor, we have many academicians. But let's say if we have many students inside this floor, what about their opinion? What about their perspective? So to them, there are many types of PhD supervisors. For example, we have the cheerleader one, okay, highly supportive and encouraging. And of course, we have the micromanager one, who knows, who wants to know every detail, closely monitor progress, okay, and want approval for major decisions. Of course, the third one, we have the hands-off supervisors that believes in independence. Okay, for the hands-off supervisors, he or she might do not want frequently meeting, okay, or sometimes they want the students to think themselves. Okay, try to innovate yourself what you should do. Okay, this is the hands-off supervisors. Okay, the superstar researcher. Okay, this one is the leading expert with impressive reputation, publications, international presence. The perfectionist. Okay, every single thing he wants to make the analysis and the data the perfect one. Okay, the last minute reviewer. Yeah, I can say I am also the last minute reviewer. Okay, the collaborators. Okay, the ones who like to collaborate, treat you like a research partner. Treat the students like a research partner, not just the students. Okay, sometimes the supervisors and the students, they have a barrier due to the egoism or due to the superiority. So the collaborators, sometimes they treat the students like a partner, whereas research partner. This one is a good one. Okay, the network builder, focusing on creating professional connections. The career coach, thinks beyond the PhD and helps you prepare for a successful career path. And the goal supervisors. Yes, we do have the goal supervisors, but I'm not sure who. You can ask yourself whether you are a goal supervisor or not. Okay, these are some of the reflections comes from the students, how they characterize their supervisor. So let's see which one of you, or maybe you have more than one type in yourself. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Okay, this one, the what they call the feedback from the supervisor itself. Okay, it says that she has many responsibilities and could not focus on the supervision. I have limited opportunities to engage with students. And while many lecturers at my university prefer group style supervision, however, I believe on tailored approach. Okay, and then the third one of the first things I explain to my students that the research topic belongs to them. I emphasize that they will be engaged with this topic for 3 to 4 years. So we can see different type of students in these statements. Okay. Okay, what values guide your supervision? Okay, how we give feedback, whether criticism can be developmental or not, how you handle the disagreement, whether the academic debate can be professional and constructive or not. Okay, how you respond to the mistakes, whether you learn to allow reflection or correction, how we treat deadliness, okay, whether accountability matters or whether academic culture is collegial or competitive, and how we deal with the pressure. Okay, whether success can be achieved with integrity or not. So, supervisor may have strong academic expertise, but the student also learns from supervisor's values in action. Okay. Again, self-reflection, what kind of postgraduate students do I want to produce? Of course, a postgraduate supervisors, you want to be recognized, right? Of course, you want to be recognized as someone who expertise in this field. Okay, but not just to think about you, not just think about you, you should think about what students that you are going to produce as well. Okay, what is your contribution to the institution? What is the contribution to the community? Okay, so let's see the difference between the old view and also the current view. So the old view is related to the scholar identity, which means focus on publications, expertise, and academic rank. Okay, let's move on to our current view. So we are not just focusing on publications, expertise, and academic rank, but we increase more in the values, we increase more in the collaboration, in the visibility, and we focus on the impact as well as the integrity. So, academia are constantly changing. So, remember my first talk on change, what we try to evolve as being a supervisors. Okay. And then we need to embrace the change to stay relevant. So, the past types of supervision is more on the pedagogy. So, right now we're more on the andragogy. Okay. And now we are not focusing more on the expertise publications, but we're focusing on the impact on the values as well as the integrity. So I think that's all for my sharing session today. Okay, I hope that the sharing session is beneficial to all, and I would like to say sorry if there is any mistakes or any part that I cannot give or deliver to all. Okay. Okay, Miss Atira, I think I'm done with the presentation.
Okay, sebelum kita mengakhiri webinar pada hari ini, saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih kepada semua pihak yang terlibat dalam penganjuran webinar ini. Terutamanya kepada Profesor Madya TS Dr. Azrina binti Aziz.
Mungkin kita boleh info yang berkaitan ECJ ke ataupun CPT?
CPT ada dekat ruang komen, dekat ruang chat.
Yeah, I think we have a question from Mr. Shamin. Yes, Mr. Shamin?
Assalamualaikum, Doctor. Thank you so much for your very insightful session. I have one question regarding collaboration. If I want to collaborate with any prof overseas, I mean international, how I can be sure that I want to collaborate? Maybe some part of my research I did myself, and I want to do the other some part which I don't know, which I cannot do. So the first part is prerequisite for the analysis of the second part. But as I don't have any earlier relation with the collaborator, so how I can be sure that we are doing some very novel works sometimes. So how I can be sure that he will do no bad with us.
What are you trying to ask is how you want to penetrate at the first place to the collaborators, is it?
Maybe no. I'm just trying to ask how I can be sure that if I share my novel work with him to do the further work, but he will not publish himself.
I see. Okay.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay. In that matters, yes, a good question actually. And also the abstract answers, I could not give the exactly the correct one because it depends as well on the individual. Okay, but to avoid on the on this situation, like on duplicating others' work, yes, I'm sure that you are worried when you show some parts of your results or some parts of your work, he or she might duplicate your work to be published, right? Okay, in this case when you want to collaborate with the international collaborators or national or any persons, first thing is do not share all the data. Okay, do not share all the important data, especially. Okay, but try to give the abstract view of your research, and also stating that what you want to get from him or her, what you expect to get from him. Okay, and then of course you should mention, just a disclaimer that this is the original work, that it shouldn't be duplicated, and we respect each other by inviting the collaborators, and he or she can give us the feedback of the collaboration or can help to improve the research together with them. Am I answering your question?
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Thank you so much.
Okay, maybe before we end the session, maybe is there any more question? Okay, not to forget, for the UMPSA staff, you can fill up the CPD link here at the chat box. Okay, and also for the outsiders, you can fill up another Google form. This one is for the e-certificate. Okay, in that case, if there is no more questions, I would like to say thank you very much to all the participants today, and of course thank you very much to the Center of Talent Development UMPSA for inviting me to be the speaker for this sharing session, and it's part of my homework after I came back from the ACAP. Okay, and then I hope from this session I could give beneficial input to all, and also we together can enhance our supervision techniques and also our research together. Okay, with that, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.